Yeah, that comes under. Today we will discuss what are the basic activities which are required. Yes, yes, yes. Whatever yesterday prerequisites we discussed, that is mandatory required for generic configuration. But today we will discuss some of the part pro settings that is also required for ARM perspective. We just need to configure those activities, role attributes. That activities will help us to import the role, and while doing the request submission, these role attributes help for the to select the roles. So only for those, but I will skip one of the pro step, that is a repetitive BRM and BRF plus which is required. That step I will skip. I will explain one step what is required later. The same procedure for um, like we will discuss only at single role level for one request. Same if we have composite role and business roles as well, then we need to create a separate rules for the methodology steps. That step I will explain today. That is full extensive BRM. I will explain that as well. So since that is required, and it will take some time for the configuration, and we don't use for that. So that is the reason for BRM perspective, please go to Subasar videos. Around 40 videos, end-to-end configuration is there, because we will not use the complete configuration, because also this is completely logical concept. BRM. Yeah, that is the reason I am not going to in depth for this concept, because if we are going to in depth and it will give a lot of confusions, then our next session would be ARM. So we need some strength required for ARM and patience as well. So I don't want to go. If it is really required, then definitely we will go deeper and deeper for the technology perspective. Since we are not using BRM extensively, so we don't want our time. Okay, today we'll start what are the BRM respective configuration activities. As of now, we completed normal BRM configurations. So apart from role certification, any other question? Okay, maybe I assume no. These are the list of activities which needs to be performed for BRM. Also, these activities called role attributes. So we'll go through one by one in the system instead of slides. Better we'll go for system. Okay, in this pro, GRC, IMG GRC, access control, role management. So the same slides also will be the same. It starts with the role management. So the first activity in the role management is maintain role type settings. So we'll go for role type, then select. Here the list of role types are available: business role, composite role, concur, CUA role, derived, group, analytical, privilege, PD profile, profile, single role, success factor group, template. needs to be active, we will not select that. Whatever the role which is not required for us, make sure that you have to select the checkbox. Suppose say profile is not required, then I will select the inactive. It's kind of a reverse. Whatever which is not required for us, we need to select that role type here. Rest of the other role types are by default active. So we will use those role types. I think it will not take. Yeah, it's already exist. Okay, start. Okay, might be you can observe success factor static group. So in case you have a success factor static group, make sure that by any chance you have not selected, you need to activate when success factor integration is planned in your landscape. So these are the role types which are inactive, which is not required for our landscape. Group is for portal. So make sure that whenever you are implementing portal system integrated and you have maybe you are facing any issue while importing or provisioning, so group needs to be active. Any questions on the deactivate role types? Mhm, mhm. Yeah, definitely. Portal has a different landscape, right? Portal has a separate connector group. So in case we are integrating to portal, how we are integrating the system, right? Via connector group. Similarly, portal system has one connector group. So that landscape name, we will import the roles. So that time, if we want to use portal, then we need to activate this group as well. Otherwise, we cannot use the portal roles. We cannot import and we cannot provision. Yeah. So next, so first step is whatever which is not required, we are deactivated all the role types. Then whatever the labels like business role, BUS, you may observe these are one of the BC sets which we have activated. See the landscape, SAP R3LG, methodology. Today we will discuss request type, roles, role sensitivity, the prerequisites, and role status, development, configuration, and production. This landscape will give you these details, basic role types, uh, all this one, deactivate role types and role labels with this help of BC set. And today we will discuss other related stuff as well, like sensitivity. We are all these role attributes comes with BC set. So whatever the role which is active, so we will maintain the role type name. New entries, here we will select. So if it is a HANA, then HAP we need to select and group GRP. If it is a Concur, then ENT. So Concur and success factor SFG. So make sure that the role type is maintain the same name during the role import and um, maintenance here. Suppose say we have deactivated, right? I think a new one, probably we will require. So I'm maintaining role type English. So success factor. You can give. This is a free test. Success factor. Like this, we will maintain the names. Once this is done, then specify the maximum length. So in general, PFCG, the maximum role length is 32, right? For business role, application type, you can give 50. This definition is in only NWBC, so you can give more. But whatever the PFCG related information, you cannot give more than 32. And if it is a portal, you can give up to maximum 100. More than 100 portal role cannot be provisioned. Limit for portal group as well. So not more than 100. So like whatever the role types, you can select and you can provide the length, maximum length. So more than that, we cannot give, um, we cannot give, and system will not accept any of the length. So any questions, even if you have application type also, so you can select GRC, LDAP. You have a specific application type. You can give that name or length. MDG, MDM, master data. So MD, not MDG, master data management, and CRM. Probably you may have a SRM, the application type. But since SRM is again ABAP based systems, so the role name would not more than 32. But enterprise portal you can give maximum 100. Even success factor also same, 100 maximum for any portal related 100. So like this we can give the role length, maximum length for each role type. So any questions on this? Also, why we are doing all these activities means we are now configuring the BRM, and BRM processes we are automizing. So we will define the pre-configurations for BRM. Based on that, while creating the role, these details would be populated in the NWBC. As soon as maximum length we can specify, then we will work on the naming convention. Suppose a naming convention means single role type single, and connector landscape. Once we will select, then in general what we will do, so generally for single roles ZS, then colon, then maybe business process and sub process, then whether it is IT or business, sorry, IT or business, then company code, then role name might be will define in the customer environment. Now ZC is the composite role, then ZY is the derived role, or ZD is the derived role. Example, this is like based on the company, we will define the names. Since it is a system, we will define the sequence. First two characters is the standard for single row. Z colon is the standard. So as soon as you have observed static means there is no change. So there are different uh, details here you need to configure. Business process, you may maintain sub process, you can maintain connector group. A free test, you can enter any number of characters. Project release, role type, you have any specification for role type SIN. So the three letters you can maintain. And static test means there is no change. System type, like this you can maintain here. So here static test, first two characters for single rows, Z colon. Role type, automatically this will populate here, single. Then again static test, one character. So probably we'll give static test means this one. Like always it will start with colon. Then connector group name. Then again colon. Then you can enter any of the details. Any questions? I will show one more screen so that your doubts will clarify immediately. So set landscape automatically. First two letters Z colon, then role name, then colon, then landscape name, then free test. That is what we did here. Are you getting me? Any questions? G colon, two correct, two chars. Okay, two characters. First letter is G, then G colon. So this is a static test. Automatically, this will pick the name G colon. Next three letters. Sorry. Yeah. Hmm. G colon. Then role type single. I was selected default, right? Role type. Role type is single. It will automatically ping here. If it is a business, I have selected default role attribute, so it will take the name from here, sin. Then static test means there is no change, colon only, one character. Then connector group, SAP R3LG. Then again static test, colon. Then 16 characters are free test. So you can write any name here, new one. I'm just giving a name. No, see, since it is a system, okay, if we are not defining here, what will happen? We are initiating role from the GRC system. Okay, we don't know before. Suppose ECC system is existing system. Later GRC will integrated or GRC configured. Then ECC to GRC were integrated. we need to follow the proper naming convention while creating the role in the ECC system, right? It's a basic principle. So as a GRC consultant, I am if we are not configuring as per the process, I will enter my own name, G single, thousand company, like that. So I will create the role, but it will not meet the company expected naming convention. It will be a compliance issue, right? We will configure whatever the role types, single, derived, composite, static group, portal, will maintain some proper naming convention. Once we are aligned, then we'll configure in the GRC system. It is not mandatory, but I will create my own, right? Which is not good. That is the reason we'll configure this. See, suppose you are a new consultant. You came to support the project. Without KT, you cannot work, right? As soon as we are not giving, you can suppose I have my own structure, my previous company. I followed the same structure. I don't know what is their maintenance for the role names or the company architecture. Then I'll follow my own naming convention, which is not good, right? So to avoid those gaps, it should be proper naming convention. It is not like same here. So you can maintain, instead of z colon, you can maintain z single here. So it will identify the single roles. Then similar process for composite, business, portal. So each process you can create your own configuration, but based on the length you need to check this 32 characters. It should not more than 32. So as soon as you maintain, then automatically the name would be populated here. So because of this reason, as soon as I have selected, automatically the naming conventions will come here. Yesterday, I forgot to mention one more point. Probably, uh, I will explain. Yesterday, some of the discussion we mentioned that we will integrate um, some of the systems into one logical group. Probably, if it is BRM, it is not possible. So, might be we need to configure each system in a separate landscape for the BRM perspective, like this. You might observe, as soon as I have selected SAP R3 LG, it populated this SAP R3 LG connector group and a role name. Suppose if it is my system is BI or my system is MDG, I will not follow the same naming conventions, right? The role naming conventions might differ. The first letter should start with Z, even though uh, ZS is a single. Then probably if it is ECC, then these three letters probably I will maintain ECC or BW. So which will not surface. That is the reason I think BRM implementation should require separate connector group for each system. Are you getting me? Yes. And also, uh, I will not come to this extent, but since we are here, CRM, I don't think so. Sub process. I think basis has sub process. Yesterday, I think one of the question was asked by Pratap. You asked one question, right? Role default. What is the use of default? Role selection. So also role selection, not only role selection, it will select the system. It will pick the system, development system. Today I have changed this. Okay, don't worry about that. In ECC was RFC issue. That is the reason I have changed. I have mapping the action, and it is getting populated the system. Also, this is one of the reason you need to maintain individual connectors. Suppose if it is a BI, so you need to maintain individual connector group for system. Okay, so by considering these two reasons, you need to create a separate connector group in case you are implementing BRM in your landscape. Okay, no, no, no. See, we need to change. If it is SAP R3LG has multiple systems were associated, then we need to create, but it won't any impact on the existing roles. We will re-import the roles to the particular landscape. Yes, from GRC production to ECC development. Well, if time permits, I will show today, but we'll see. Yeah. Yes. 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 No. 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 Yeah, I have selected only one system. Yes. No, that is the reason we need to split this into connector group, separate connector group. If it is a GRC, then we need to create a separate connector group. Yeah. Later I was realized whatever the landscape by selecting the system. So automatically the role name would be populate here, and also in the maintain authorization, the system, whatever the default system, it will automatically populate there. So by considering these reasons, we need to go with the separate connector group. No, no, no. The name is not mandatory here. We can give any name. I have just well, see. I want to give the complete select connector group. But in the NWBC, definitely you need to give that landscape SAP R3LG, SAP R3, that connector group name. As soon as you have selected, then automatically the role name will be selected. Here. This is a length. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. So any questions on this length? As soon as that is completed, then we will create any of the project release. So as soon as we will maintain demo, then we will use in the role inputs. Once project release is complete, then role sensitivity. So role sensitivity will help us for the intensity of the role, whether it is a confidential HR or restricted permissions for end users, or a normal classical role or normal role, classified role. Like this, we will segregate the intensity. So we can define that. And role status. Yesterday we discussed PRD should be always select to visible in the system. That probably next class will import the roles, then we'll see the difference. What is dev status, what is PRD status. But role production status should always be select. Then criticality, high, medium, low. Again, this is also supporting the role intensity level. As soon as we'll maintain sensitivity critical, then it is always high. If it is a classified or normal role, then probably it will comes under low or medium. See, some of the companies based on the role criticality level or severity level, based on that, it will trigger to approval level. If the role level is critical, then it will goes to department director. If the role criticality level is medium, then it will goes to normal approval, role owner approval. If it is default, if it is low, then probably it is a default role, then it will auto approval without approval. So like this, we will segregate the role attributes. Next is define companies. So in case of any list of companies we are going to use, we will maintain here. And this particular step will be GRC perspective. It is very important during the mergers. Any company, any rollout will happen. We need to maintain those company details here. That perspective, this company is very important. Also, the company, we can use this as a condition, one of the condition for SOD approval in general. Based on the company, we can send for the route for the approval. Also, based on the company, will identify the user information, which company is belongs to, whether it's a which region, whether it's a US region or ASPEC region or Europe region, EMEA region. Like this, we will identify. So majority of the situations will comes under either a merger or any new rollout. System is already integrated in the GRC system, so we'll maintain the company names here. And this also might be one of the input for mitigation. We created root hierarchy. After root hierarchy, based on the companies, we created the structure. Then we mapped the owners. Then we'll maintain those details in the mitigation control, one of the input. So for mitigation control perspective also, define companies is very important. Any questions? Project release? Project releases might be, see, you have a 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. any new company which is migrating, or any new company rollout which is going. So you can define that. You can include by project release itself. You can identify the regions. You have a three regions, aspect, India, US. Then you can create the role naming convention is one of the input as project release. So that even within the project also, within the US region, probably you can identify the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and you can segregate the divisions. Not for enhancements, just to identify. See, this is one of the role attribute. Okay, so if you want to, as soon as you want to identify the role name, you can maintain the project release as well, one of the input. So just for to identify the role or rollouts. Yes. And functional areas. Okay, functional areas, generally in the GRC system there is one drawback. If you have a business process and you want to provide sub process is one of the input in the BRF plus condition, or mostly BRF plus condition, you cannot do that. You don't have a option to do in the end user UP field, or as well as BRF plus one of the input. So ideally you need to dependent on functional areas. Also, that is one advantage to maintain the functional areas. And some of the business process, like the business itself, they will segregated their business areas into functional areas. So in such a case, GRC have a facility, you need to maintain functional areas here. Even though not only finance, you have a different finance divisions, then we can maintain based on the functional areas, and this will consider as one of the input for your rollouts. Basically this is like a kind of helping your business process, or identifying certain roles like plant based or legal entity based roles. Define org level values. So define org level values, since we are completely creating uh, roles or initiating roles from GRC system, whatever the backend system org values we will create here by selecting the org levels. So probably you may observe in the ECC this complete org level details. These are 1 to 5 2. So you will get this Rex and cost center, or probably sales division, sales area. So all these details. So whatever the details we have, we will maintain the system as a inputs. So we will select in the derived role. We will pick the organization values in one of the role creation process that we'll discuss probably next session. But it will help in the derived role step. We'll pick the org values when we are creating in the SPRO, the company code, all anything in the backend system we will create in the GRC. So now we miss one thing. I think okay. One of the key role attribute is a business process and sub process. Access control, business process and sub process. Rule set we have activated. So this business process came. I think we have created sub process. So these two are also required. Generally, we will take the details from business and we will remove the standard, or we will modifying these values into customer input based on the customer input. And business process sub process is also one of the key attributes to identifying the role. Once that is done, then prerequisites. Prerequisites will help to require to satisfy certain requirements in an environment. Suppose solution manager system. Solution manager system, the certification has to be completed before providing the access. So in such a in such a case, to deal with these type of requirements, we will configure prerequisites. This is comes with a BC set, but define prerequisite. In case of certification or training, any other things we will configure here, but we will map that is one of the prerequisite for particular system. Mhm. This is including because role management, right? See, for yes, because this yes, these two steps are common based on the roles, right? These all these steps till role prerequisite, all these steps are a sharing central repository for ARM and BRM both. Because if it is BRM landscape we are implementing, then we are initiating the role from GRC system. Okay, no need to import the role into the GRC system. But if we are configuring without BRM, all these steps are required to import the role into the GRC system. The role is created in the backend system. While importing the role, we need all these inputs till here, till role prerequisites. So all these role naming convention, role length, project release, sensitivity, role status, company, criticality level, everything will require here. I will go to, once we complete this step, I'll go to NWBC page to understand better. Okay. So what is this system? Okay. I have mapped it to one system. So I have taken a training as one of the input. Okay. Prerequisite. So in case anybody required GRC system, I have a few roles which needs to be assigned to users. Make sure that he should complete the certification. Now I'm selecting the role, SCP, CPR2, basis. So I'm using business process and sub process here. So project release demo. So we will use one of the input and naming convention. So till now we have used the some of the inputs. Also save. Then the properties, criticality level. I will mention one of the pro input high, sensitivity confidential. Okay, then I will say prerequisites. Add demo. So this system, if anybody requests this JED as SYN SAP R3LG temp role, might be this is critical and confidential role. If anybody need this role, they should complete the training. Okay. Okay. We have used all the properties, whatever's pro. The naming convention, role type already populated, project release, demo selected, sensitivity, role status production that by end of role creation we will select, but role sensitivity, criticality, define companies and prerequisites. This is how we will select the complete details. Any questions? Hello. Okay. Yeah. Everybody is silent. I got surprised. No, no, no. I will come to PFCG. Wait. See, to go to PFCG, I need to complete these many slides. If you don't require, you want to see that, I will go in a just one click. I will go. You want to see that, I will go. But why this step also I need to explain, right? You want it? Okay. I will go that step. That is not a big deal. Yeah, right now we are going step by step. But so I don't want to confuse because this is very, very logical, complete. See, the architecture for BRM, if you are extensively used, that is very, very good concept. But there are so many drawbacks, but that is the reason we are not using this one. But right now, you whatever you have seen, everything tomorrow we will import the role without BRM configuration. While import the role, we will use all these attributes as a inputs during the role imports. Single derived composite business. So same we will use, but I will explain that as well. You want to see the PFCG screen? I will show. Yeah. So once we complete the prerequisite, almost all these are pre-steps for ARM and BRM. Okay. As soon as these completed, these four steps, I will explain why it is required, but I will not go more details because that is completely BRM related. So you need to define BRM application approvers and methodology and methodology condition process to condition groups. For these three steps, why it is required means we will create the BRM application for one of the roles, suppose single role, but we will also require composite roles, some rules. We will also require in case we are using BRM some roles, and in case of any static groups or any other thing, portal or portal considered as a single role, single, composite and business role. So we need three different methodologies. So we will create one condition group similarly connector group concept. We will create one condition group. We will map that condition group to single, derived and business so that the methodology steps will different. To understand better, first we will go to methodology steps. What is methodology steps? Meaning it is just a step-by-step process. We will create the role. Generally, I think we were already discussed before. To create the role, just we gather the information. Then role name. Then maintain authorizations. Once maintain authorizations, then arg values. If it is single, then then profile generation or generate profile. Maybe. So this is complete. Then user assignment. Like this step-by-step process. Here also there are some steps, predefined steps. It is not editable. No problem. So new entries. First sequence 1 here. So we need to select the step. First, define role. This is the screen. Define role. So in this define role, we will select application area, landscape, business process, sub process, project release, and we will maintain the naming convention. We'll maintain all the details. Then properties. The role attributes which is required, critical level, sensitivity, derivation in case derived role is required. So like this, any prerequisites, approvers. So all these company functional area, all these comes under defined role. That is the step. Action. So definition. Then as soon as so even though I have already selected a single role. So don't think wrong. I have given the name composite role, but I have selected maintain authorization. Don't think me wrong. Okay. I have selected already single role was selected. That is the reason I just gave composite role. So maintain actions and permissions like adding the transaction codes in the role. Maintain authorization tab. Then so in case single role we want to derive, then we can give derived role. That is an optional. Then fourth. So perform the risk analysis. This step generally won't exist in normal process. As soon as once we create the role in the ECC, then we will perform the will will perform sync job. Sorry, we'll schedule the sync job, then we'll perform the risk analysis. But since we are initiating a role creation process from GRC system, as soon as you added the transaction code, then we'll perform immediately risk analysis. And based on the yesterday, we saw some parameters allow role creation with SOD. So if the parameters is yes, then we will proceed with further steps. Otherwise, if the parameters has been set to no, we must remediate within the role. So as soon as completed, perform the risk analysis. Remediate means we will remove one of the transaction code, then only it will be SOD free. Once that is completed, then we'll initiate the role approval. The role approver will approve. In normal process, what will happen? First, we will take the approval via email from the role owner. Then we'll create the role, maintain the tree codes and authorization objects. Then we'll perform the risk analysis. But since it is a process, we'll maintain all the details and we'll initiate the approval, role approval. Once that is completed, then we'll attach the, sorry, generate role comes first actually, probably. So after generate the role, then test cases. Whatever the test cases for this particular role, will submit the unit testing. So like this, for creating the role, methodology steps will define. This is what the methodology steps. Define role, maintain authorization, derived role, analyze access risk, generate roles. Here you cannot find role approval because I have not selected that. We have a system issue for the approval. So, I have selected methodology steps without role approval. Any questions? So this is where the output you can see in the role. No, 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 no. See that I just selected. Composite role as a different process. Just adding the roles. No, defined role only. Defined role. No, only risk analysis. Actions and permissions won't be there. See, that is not a scope, right? That's why, because it is already single role. Someone has already maintained methodology steps. So I don't want to confuse, because without we are discussing single roles, we cannot proceed to composite role, right? Yeah. So that is the reason I have mentioned the role name is composite, but naming conventions you can maintain. Yes, yes. For that, you need to define the generate BRF plus, the application name, the rule ID for the particular methodology, whatever the methodology, one or two, right? So we need to define BRF plus methodology. This you just create the name, then you need to maintain in the BRF plus, the approver, everything. So this is completely some kind of a procedure we need to follow for each methodology. Single role, derived role, and business role. In case we are implementing BRM. And also, apart from these condition group and these BRF plus activities, we need to configure, we need to enable the workflow. See, we need to enable this role approver. This is also standard. We just need to go to each process and we will activate. Since it is a standard, we don't require any other inputs. Only we just need to one stage only. We just need to map the agent ID role owner. Since it is a standard, there is no change. So we need to add the task settings, comments, rejection. In case of any rejection, we will maintain forward allowed. And if you want, we can add notifications as well. Like since we have a new work item, we need to maintain role approval new work item. Recipient is sorry current approval. So once this modified task settings and this completed, then we will activate. The new version is generated. Like this, we need to activate the role approval. Only the first process ID we required customization and different request types, but rest of the other workflow process IDs we just need that. So once we activated the workflow, then we will consider, we will add in the methodology that step as well. So the approval step. So as soon as we added approval, once the methodology state reaches to this particular methodology step, it will give the option initiate approval. Then automatically that workflow process ID will trigger and whoever the maintain approvers for the role, that approver will get the notification. So the particular stage, the approver will get the notification. Any questions on role methodology steps? we can define. Yeah, yeah, because we have almost completed the major part. Okay. Yeah, definitely. So we have created access control owner. So this has an input. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And if you observe, role assignment approver is access request approver. Role content approver is the one which this this methodology will approve. Okay, 1 minute. Oh, sorry, I have not included. It's my bad. So I'm modifying this step. Testing by role generation. Yes. So I'm adding step 7. Just 1 second. 5, 6. Request approval. 7. Maintain test cases. Okay. Now, so I have included the role approval. So I have maintained the role owner. Request approval. As soon as I have modified the methodology, automatically request approval methodology step came here. So now we are good to create till the step we will create the role. This is pretty project release. Demo test. Okay, so then properties, high, confidential, derivation not required, owners, role owner, owner, probably, oh, set, okay, anyway, we covered. So once we define the role, then save and continue. Automatically, it will comes to maintain authorization. Okay. So here actions and permissions, maintain authorization tab, second. So now we have a two options enabled here, add or delete function, maintain authorization. First we'll check the first option. SAP has provided task based role facility, meaning in the rule set there are set of functions is available. So some of the companies, they don't want to invest their time for mitigation, remediation, like that. Some of the small companies, what they will do, they will create based on the function ID one role for archiving. So BS01 probably BS10 will conflict. So then BS01 they will check based on the rule set. They will create each task based roles. Suppose say out of 18, they will create, like we will suggest to 10 roles out of 20. So the 10 roles is combination. Whatever the risk combinations, we will not assign those function role users, but we will select the function, click OK. Whatever the actions and permissions within this function, see if you observe the PFCG S4 HANA system, automatically it will go. So it will open the PFCG screen. It will update the menu with BS01 function IDs. We just maintain authorizations and so we'll maintain our values. Like this, it will open the backend PFCG screen development. Might be you understand now what is this diagram and why we mapped all the four mapping actions to only development connector. Why we are not mapping quality and production. I hope you will understand today. No? One minute, 1 minute. Yeah, which one? Maintain authorization data. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm going. Okay. So, see in the maintenance, okay. One is we can create based on the function. Just now I have selected one function. Okay. Risk analysis function. You understand, right? Function is a combination of action and permission. Okay. So automatically it was based on this function, whatever the authorizations included in this function, that was comes to menu, and the authorization objects were pulled into uh, authorization screen. You understand now? Okay. Okay. Now, as soon as I have selected, automatically it will open the backend PFCG SAP screen. If I select add function in the maintain authorization data or maintain authorization data, anything. Okay. So now PFCG backend screen would pop up. Now, what is your question? You understand this? Mm-hmm. Hmm. No, no, no. Okay. See, that's what I have selected only one function. The actions will be displayed in the menu. Whatever the function actions, automatically that authorizations will be displayed in the authorization tab. Okay. Then again, if you want to remove or any modifications, we can do here. But the core concept is whatever your initiating role from GRC system, automatically this particular screen, it will go to interact with backend system PFCG screen and will modify the role authorization object level in the PFCG screen. Now, what any questions from your side? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, but whatever the actions were mapped, right, that everything will comes from function. No, why? It will pick from SE24 only. Ah, are standard transactions only, right? All are standard transactions. All are related to archive transactions. And whatever the permission values here, everything will be incorporated into PFCG. Okay, just wait for 2 minutes, 2 more minutes. Okay, this is one of the option if you select based on the task based roles. Okay, now we will keep this aside. Okay, that is one of the option. Now cancel PFCG. Now I will not use the function. I have my own transactions. Then click on this. Automatically it will open PFCG again. But role name was saved. I think. Okay, just give me a minute because I have already selected. I will create another role. I have saved it. Sorry, 1 minute. Okay, I'm selecting SAP or business process. Okay, so then I'll go to properties. Ah, I'm adding owners. Once done, then I'll come to authorization. So before we have selected from function. Now we have a selected transaction codes. Then automatically it will open the PFCG screen. So without menu. Now you can create your own. So once we have done, then save the role, close, yes. Then we need to do that. So if you observe, there is no details here. So sync with PFCG. We need to maintain ticket number. Okay. Then role backend time and what details are updated and everything. Automatically, whatever the transactions and permissions we have added in the system, it will be displayed here. Any questions? Yes, it should always, whatever the backend system, we need to sync here. Also, if you want to modify GRC, like any changes, generally we cannot do here. If you want to push from GRC system, you need to select this from GRC. Backend system to GRC system. Yes, yes. Authorization data tab is very important. In case of any arg values, probably you will add arg values here. okay, organization levels. But this particular area, we have a two choices. One is from function, or will maintain the authorizations. Both. Both options will be available here. So we can create the role. Any questions on this? Hmm. No, no, no. I just click on actions to show that there is no data. Until unless we will not click on sync PFCG, the data will not be populated here. I just want to show you. Yes, in the actions, we don't have any data. To sync the data, we need to click on sync with PFCG button. Yes, yes. Yeah, make sure that it should be always do that, sync with PFCG. So once that is done, then we just click on the derived role. But we have selected in the defined role, non derived role is not again same because it won't ask anything derived role because um, previous, previous. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. In the properties, derived derivation allowed no. I have selected. So that is the reason. Just 1 second. Ensure. Just 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So derivation allowed no. So as soon as we have selected, then it won't give anything. Otherwise, if we selected yes, then we need to maintain the derived role. So we're good with this. Yeah, I'm in derived role step. So any questions here, Shrikant? Hello. Um, hello. No, no, no. That's what I'm saying. No? Yeah, yeah. We need to define the role derived as well. But that is the reason I have selected no. So to define the derived role, I need to define the naming convention and methodology steps, if required. Methodology steps as well. If we have the same thing, then we don't require. But we are using same. That condition we need to made in the condition groups. But yes, we need to define the separate details for derived role as well. Okay. Um, yeah, I will try to because I need to create the condition groups, application types, and everything. Only one I can do. But let me see. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay. Once we'll create the derived role and arg values. If required, we will move this. Then we'll perform the risk analysis for this role. So there is no risks for this. If it is any risk, then generally it would populate. Before it was at least display the message, no violations, but it was not showing 10.1. So as soon as this is completed, generate. Again, it will go to button system. two violations. Come on. Okay, temporarily I'm skipping this step. I'm just it is saying I have not get the any details for roles. It is saying that two risks are generated, but it is not displaying. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yes, so how come only one function it is generated? Okay, I have a mitigation control. I have assigned for temporarily. So generate means so role generated. So actually I want to move this. Once the role remediation completed, yeah, initiate approval request. So just click on this. Maybe IRC hash 12345. This is my ticket number. Please approve. Generally, it will request is submitted, request status pending, request reason. So it will trigger the request. I don't know whether our will see. I want to show already we are running out of time, but instant status. Yeah. Approval. Yeah, like this it will trigger for approval. So still not working. Yeah, like this it will trigger to approver to approve the request. As soon as approves, the approver approves, then it will automatically go to testing stage. Next, then it will complete the request. So by considering all the approvals, the role is existing just in the backend ECC system. So now manually the role needs to move to QA and production via change management process. But role is available. As soon as it will comes to last, um, actually we'll change to, we'll assign to role status. It is locked. I will show in different role. Additional details provisioning. Here we forgot to mention actually So here we will maintain production status role, the status production. Then automatically this role will be visible for demo purpose. I forgot to maintain this role status. Like this, we will initiate a role in the system through BRM. Any questions? Just 2 more minutes. Will complete because I don't want to cut in between. So that is the reason we are taking time. So any questions? Now you might understand GRC production system to ECC development architecture and what are the prerequisites for BRM, and to configure BRM we need what are the role attribute pre-configuration steps, then workflow, then role will be created in the ECC system, but role needs to be transported to change management process to QA and production across the landscape. Any questions? Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. See, that is basically instead of you are defining roles and checking the risk analysis and like allocating some time for mitigation year by year or every 3 years for mitigation users maintenance, to avoid such work, small companies in general during the RFP we will suggest as a SME, we have suggested for few customers because they have only 500 SAP users. So and only everything will goes to approval, only few 4 or 5 technical directors, they are busy with normal function. But they said we were during the um, proposal we were explained complete what is GRC, how GRC functionality will work, and we just give work for the presentation, for business presentation. There we have explained risk analysis and mitigation concept and audit compliance, why we are doing, companies will follow, needs to follow, and what is the core advantage of GRC. Like everything we have explained. Then they have asked a couple of questions like we don't want to invest that much time for 500 users. Is there any alternative solution? Then we have suggested instead of role design, we'll go with the uh, function based task roles. We will identify, but whenever you are changing any of the role by adding transaction codes or anything, before you want to perform risk analysis, then they agreed, and we have suggested for business process function wise roles, task based. So each business process roles. So based on the task based, they will allocate it, they created composite roles, 4 or 5 composite roles for each business process. Out of 20 functions, it was created around 4 or 5, sorry, 8 or 9 technical roles. Then the combination, we have allocated 1 to basis 1, basis 3, basis 5 doesn't have a risk. So we allocated all three combined into one composite role, all these technical roles, and we have assigned additionally default roles. So there is no risks, not at all. Almost 2 years we were in the maintenance. Later we have assigned one resource. They required only one resource for each team from IT. So security team, there is no risk analysis, there is no maintenance work, but only in case of any reminders or anything, kind of a, it's a basically a small client. They have to invest only uh, few amount of money because of audit compliance in the normal um, users. So one of the audit they suggested for GRC. That is the reason we got the POC. And after our presentation, they have accepted our proposal. After during the proposal itself, we have suggested task based roles. So they have accepted the task based roles as well. So that avoid so much of money during the maintenance. If we 1 year time down the frame, so GRC consultant almost 60% of work will reduce, and as well as the approval, their business time, their meetings, like we need to take the decision for the risk mitigation, then what needs to be removed, and remediation projects parallelly. So they have lot of amount of time as well as money saving in terms of task based role. So but for the GRC perspective, here it is a direct facility. We can directly select the function, and we can sync with PFCG. Automatically the actions and permissions will be available. If you want to create a custom role, generally, so we have a the role business file, right? Like role design document or role business file, whatever the transaction code which needs to be maintained, and authorization values, everything. Based on the design document, we will create the role. Mhm. No, no, no. It's not at all required. BRM, I will not suggest. But in the BRM, general on the rule set files, they have not implemented BRM. But to automate this process, normal design or role management process, I have explained that option is available directly instead of we are going and collecting each function. What are the actions like funcac table, funcac permissions? So you need to collect the data from tables, GRC tables, and we need to add into the role menu. Instead of that, this is a direct facility. You can create directly role. Yes. No, 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 no. That again, a service-based company, they have a strategy. Okay. See, as soon as they don't have any tickets or any work, they cannot pay it, right? Is very few customers we can suggest, not for everyone. Yes, yes, yes. You can do that. No, no, no. But because based on the service based, if we share this logic, then we will lose human resource. Definitely, if we consider GRC team, definitely 3 to 4% should be there for support. So since they don't have a work for this strategy, then we cannot pay it, right? So that customer, because even the small customers want to lose the customer, they need service. We can do that, but at least for maintenance, almost contract was extended till 5 years. At least 10 resources. For us, it is a benefit, right? Um, Theory, see, basically, same logic. We will go to PFCG and adding this transaction, right? PFCG, then will add the uh, SVC, that's like a data service and groups and functions, catalogs, everything. The same logic, but I'm not sure. Is there any additional things which needs to be performed? But yep, yes, yes, yeah. So yeah, so for I think Subha sir channel has almost 40 videos. Like he was explained role attributes, each and everything. I'll let me see. For this, I don't want to go in. It will since it is a BRF plus. We need to create condition groups and condition rules for each process. But I will check in case of any videos or anything. I will try to share. But will refer the Subhasar channel. That would great help for all the activities, especially for BRM. But we have another two sessions probably. One is business role management. Will go with the business role type that is since that is new. But role master data. Next session would be role master data. We'll try to import. As of now, we have initiated the role from GRC system. But in case we don't have a GRC system, we have configured the prerequisites and role attributes. Then we'll use the NWBC to import the roles, role import. So we'll discuss this complete option. So we'll download the template. So this template looks like this. So whatever you might observe, role status, criticality, sensitivity, so certification, approver, in case of any master or derived roles, we will prepare this template and we will import. And also, um, we will discuss one of the concept which I keep it hold as of now, but we'll discuss that role mapping. So this role mapping will help us in case if I assign role A, role B, that facility is also available in GRC. Meaning, if it is a central hub model, I think you are all aware of theory. If person requires access in theory for S4 HANA system, automatically the theory front end component role also needs to be assigned. Instead of two roles, we will map role A to role B. Then user will select role A, role B, theory role automatically will be selected to user. That concept we'll discuss in the next session.